Let your breath slow down. Let the weight of the day fall away until only silence remains calm, wide, and endless. What if some lights in the universe were never meant to be seen yet still found their way through the dark to reach you? What if creation is just destruction in disguise? And what if darkness isn't the opposite of light, but the place where it learns how to shine? These aren't poetic thoughts. They're real echoes from the pillars of creation, where dust becomes fire and silence gives birth to stars. Where are you listening from? Right now, a quiet room, a soft glow, maybe the edge of sleep. If this calm finds you, and you enjoy drifting through the quiet mysteries of space, you are welcome to stay a little longer, maybe leave a soft, like a gentle comment, and let's wander together through the forbidden lights inside the pillars of creation. Now let the story find you. The lights fade, and somewhere between thought and silence, you begin to drift. The air grows slower, the stars dissolve into distance, and now we enter the place where light was never meant to exist. Everything began with a single vibration, and the universe realized it was alive. Before there were stars, before any planet had a name, the universe was only an ocean of cold energy, vast, still unbroken. There was no sound, no shape, no direction for anything to move toward. Only the quiet pressure of nothingness, stretching endlessly without form. Then from that stillness, a ripple appeared, small, fragile, like the first shiver of breath in an empty chest. It was not a decision. It was not a will. It was the first instability inside perfect balance. And through that instability, something began to glow. That flicker did not appear to be seen. It existed because it could not do otherwise. When nothingness trembled, it remembered how to shine. The light had no audience, no purpose, no promise of meaning. Yet it burned not as fire, but as awareness. That glow was the first self-recognition of the cosmos. The void looked inward and for the first time saw itself. You imagine it now, the dark sea of before time, folding under its own quiet weight. There is no explosion, no noise, just a single pulse of energy becoming visible against the black. Light did not begin as a triumph. It began as a sigh, a soft acceptance that existence could no longer hide within silence. Every ray born after that still carries the same memory of something that appeared only because it could not remain nothing. Light did not come to illuminate others. It came to know itself. In that first shimmer, awareness was born, not separate from the dark, but breathing through it. Creation was never an act. It was an awakening. The universe did not need a creator's hand to shape it. It only needed to notice that it was already there. Existence began not through effort, but through recognition. You often believe life must be built, achieved, or proven. Yet even now, the oldest law of the cosmos whispers through you being is enough. The first light never asked for permission. It did not fight to exist. It simply was, and by being, it became infinite. There is a paradox hidden within that truth. Existence begins only when the need to exist ends. The more you reach, the farther away it drifts. The moment you stop grasping, you realize you have always been within it. The universe does not push forward, it opens inward. Light is not the escape from darkness. It is darkness discovering its own reflection. You too are born from that same reflection. Every atom in your body was once that trembling glow, pressed between emptiness and becoming. You are not a stranger to the first spark. You are its continuation, the same vibration, slowed into form, breathing through time. You are not a visitor in this universe. You are the universe folding in on itself to see. Pause now and feel how quiet it becomes when you no longer try to be anything. There is no need to move forward. There is only this breath expanding and falling like waves that have forgotten the shore. You exist in the same stillness that once gave birth to light, and in that stillness, you begin to see your silence is not absence, it is proof. Have you ever stayed still long enough to hear your own existence? Not the sound of thoughts, but the space that carries them. Perhaps that is the first light, the same one that shimmered in the dark before stars were born. It still flickers within you, faint and ancient, asking for nothing but recognition. When you fall quiet, you do not disappear. You return. You return to the shape of light before it needed to be seen. The cosmos does not ask for your noise, your effort, or your certainty. It asks only that you remember that even in your most silent moments, you are the living echo of that first vibration. You are not searching for the light. You are the place where it began. The silence deepens, but it no longer feels empty. Something unseen begins to move beneath it, a quiet pulse, steady and patient, like the universe remembering how to breathe for the first time. When the fire of the beginning cooled, the universe exhaled into calm. Space stretched wider, temperature fell, and from the cooling mist, a single element began to form: hydrogen. It was not a miracle, not a plan, just the simplest arrangement possible. One proton, one electron, one breath of matter, suspended in the endless dark. There was nothing complex, yet no structure or order, only repetition, simplicity folding into itself. Hydrogen filled the void, quiet and pure, like the first rhythm of a heart before language existed. From that simplicity, everything else would come. When hydrogen gathered in invisible clusters, its own gravity began to pull it tighter. The weight of its own presence heated it from within until pressure gave way to fusion. In that collapse, hydrogen became something more, a star. From the simplest particle, light returned again, but this time it carried memory. Energy began to flow, and what once was empty now pulsed with potential. The universe, once silent, began to hum softly, breathing through hydrogen's glow. You might imagine this not as an explosion, but as an inhalation, the cosmos drawing in energy, folding it into itself. Each atom of hydrogen, a small unspoken syllable in the universe's first sentence. From this single tone, all future complexity would bloom: helium, carbon, oxygen, everything that could burn, think, or dream. Simplicity, not perfection, became the foundation for life. The universe did not begin by striving to be magnificent. It began by learning to be simple. In that sense, the first act of creation was not about completion, but potential. Hydrogen was not the goal. It was the possibility of becoming. The universe understood that to create endlessly, it had to begin with what could repeat infinitely. Simplicity is not absence. It is the form closest to truth. The more basic the pattern, the more deeply it can unfold. And in that realization, existence found its rhythm. The smallest thing became the mother of everything vast. There is a quiet paradox in this. The more the universe expands, the more it returns to what is simple. Every grand structure is built from the same repeating hydrogen breath. Complexity, no matter how intricate, is only simplicity multiplied. Wisdom hides not in accumulation, but in reduction, the art of remaining essential. The stars in their brilliance are still singing hydrogen's first song. Every sunrise, every heartbeat, every flicker of thought is a translation of that single note, simple, pure, alive. You too carry this pattern. Within your body, hydrogen flows ancient, familiar, unchanged, since the first light. You are made from what the universe trusted most, the smallest, most patient form of being. Yet you often forget that simplicity is not emptiness. You seek to add, to build, to become more, as if the value of your existence depends on weight. But even the stars know to rise higher, they must release what binds them. The lighter they become, the brighter they burn. Hydrogen teaches without words. It reminds you that nothing needs to be complicated to matter. One particle, one connection, one moment of stillness and life begins to move. You do not need to reach toward perfection. You only need to remember what is already present, the breath that forms itself again and again without asking to be noticed. If the universe could begin with a single element, perhaps you too only need one breath, a breath that knows it exists. The first breath was not born of effort. It was simply awareness returning to itself. And through that awareness, the cosmos expanded, filling the silence with possibility. Now, as you breathe, feel that same rhythm moving through you. The inhale and exhale mirror the cosmic pulse, the same motion that built galaxies and starlight. You are not apart from it. You are the continuation of that breath. In your stillness, you are already becoming light. The universe was born from simplicity, and you, in your quiet, in your single breath, are proof that simplicity still creates everything worth being. The smaller you become, the closer you move to what began it all. The more you release, the clearer your light becomes. Perhaps that is all hydrogen ever tried to say, that to create worlds, you only need to breathe. To shine, you only need to be pure. And to exist, truly exist, you only need to be simple enough to remember that you already are. The universe has taken its first breath, and the air of hydrogen fills the dark. Yet even breath must learn how to transform. The stillness that once expanded begins to fold, drawn inward by its own weight, and so begins the quiet collapse that gives birth to light. Inside the pillars of creation, clouds of dust and gas drift like ancient thoughts. They are vast, delicate, suspended between motion and rest. For ages they have waited, silent, invisible, patient. But in the heart of stillness, gravity awakens. It pulls gently at first, almost tender, then with gathering insistence. Every grain of dust feels the call, and the clouds begin to fold. The soft veil of matter tightens layers, pressing into one another until the air itself becomes heavy. What was once endless now feels enclosed. The universe is holding its breath again. The pressure rises. Within those veiled chambers of dust, heat begins to bloom. Collisions grow faster, friction builds, and the temperature climbs beyond what silence can endure. The collapse continues until the boundary between dust and flame dissolves. In that sacred compression, hydrogen fuses, the smallest element giving birth to the brightest force. A star emerges from surrender radiance, from contraction creation. You might imagine this not as destruction, but as a kind of prayer. Each grain of dust falling inward is an act of devotion, an offering to gravity's inevitable rhythm. It does not resist its fall. It folds willingly, knowing that the pressure itself is the path to illumination. In the language of the universe, collapse is not death, it is transformation made visible. Everything you see in the night sky was born from this ritual. Stars do not rise through peace, they rise through pressure. The galaxies you admire, their glow, their harmony, are mosaics of former chaos. Without compression, there is no ignition. Without surrender, no birth. The pillars of creation are not monuments of stillness, but of movement sacred structures, built from billions of collapses, each one giving shape to the light that followed. The lesson hides softly inside the dust. To shine, one must first allow themselves to fall. Dust must surrender its form for a star to exist. Every act of creation requires some degree of destruction. The paradox is gentle, yet absolute. What bears the greatest weight carries the brightest flame. Pressure does not punish, it prepares. Collapse is not the failure of balance, but the beginning of radiance. You have felt it too. The heaviness, the slow descent into your own center, the way life sometimes folds in on itself, pressing you until breath feels distant. You call it breaking, or loss, or despair. Yet what if it is simply the same process that shapes the stars? What if every collapse within you is gravity, drawing your scattered pieces toward their next form? There is no shame in falling inward. Even dust must yield to its own becoming. When it does, the universe transforms it into fire. What feels like an ending is only the middle of the process, the moment where you're being reassembled from the inside out. Pain, pressure, silence, these are not walls. They are the chambers where light begins. If you could see yourself as the cosmos, you would not fear the collapse. You would understand that compression brings clarity, that gravity is the universe's way of teaching endurance. The star does not resist its fall. It allows it, trusting that heat will come, and through heat light, your life too follows that same pattern, expanding, folding, and shining in endless cycles. The dust in the pillars knows this truth. Every particle remembers the instant before fusion, the sacred moment where nothing remains but potential. To become something luminous, it must endure the dark without trying to escape it. There is a quiet discipline in surrender. The universe does not rush its stars. It lets gravity complete its work. And only when the last fragment yields does the first beam of light appear. So, perhaps when you feel yourself collapsing, it is not your undoing. Perhaps it is the pressure of your own becoming gravity shaping you back into something whole. It hurts because it is honest. It burns because it is near completion. If you can wait, if you can trust the dark to finish what it started, the light will come. The universe was born through this same ritual, a dance of pressure, release, and return. Every star is proof that what falls apart can shine again. And maybe, in this quiet truth, you will find peace that every collapse, no matter how heavy, is only the universe reminding you you were always meant to become light. The collapse ends in silence, but silence does not last. What was once pressure becomes release, and from the heart of darkness, the first fire rises. The star awakens, and the universe learns what it means to burn. When the first star ignited, its light did not simply glow, it roared through the dust that had given it birth. The energy tore through the surrounding gas, consuming it, reshaping the space it came from. The same flame that illuminated the void also devoured it. The star became both creator and destroyer, an architect built from its own undoing. This was the first paradox written into the laws of energy, that every act of illumination carries within it a shadow of ruin. Around the new light, the gas shimmered and scattered, driven away by heat. The birthplace of the star dissolved under its own brilliance. The universe watched quietly as the first wound appeared in the fabric of creation, not from malice, but necessity. To make light, something had to be lost. Energy could not exist without balance. Every birth required a burning, and so the cosmos began to understand the price of radiance. In that moment, the universe learned that light is never gentle. It does not ask for permission to exist. It arrives as rebellion, the defiance of darkness against its own stillness. Every flame is a protest, a statement that nothing, not even the void, can remain unchanged. The star was not cruel. It was inevitable. It burned because it could not do otherwise. That is the true nature of energy, to transform everything it touches, including itself. You might think of this not as violence, but as movement. Creation needs destruction to keep from freezing in perfection. Every pulse of existence carries both birth and death folded together. Life itself holds the seed of its own ending, not as tragedy, but as balance. The forbidden flame of the first star was not an accident. It was the expression of this law. The same force that built galaxies would one day unmake them, and yet without it, nothing could begin. There is a quiet beauty in that contradiction. The fire does not regret the ash it leaves behind. The ash, in turn, becomes the soil for something new. It is an endless exchange, a rhythm of giving and dissolving, burning and returning. The cosmos does not mourn what it loses. It transforms loss into form. In this way, destruction becomes a kind of kindness, and death an act of renewal. You too carry this pattern within you. The same energy that lives in the stars breathes in your blood. You have felt it, that burning in the chest when something in you wants to expand, to shine, to be known. And perhaps you feared it. You've dimmed yourself to protect others, to remain safe, to belong. But light cannot hide without fading. When you suppress what wants to burn, you also extinguish what gives you life. Sometimes you mistake your own brightness for danger. You think your glow might hurt someone or destroy the places that once sheltered you. Yet that is the nature of awakening, to outgrow what once held you. The star too consumed its birthplace, not from cruelty, but from the necessity of becoming. The light did not hate the dust. It simply had to move beyond it. Every illumination is a departure, a quiet leaving from what no longer fits. There is a tenderness in that destruction. If you look closely, the fire does not destroy to harm. It transforms to continue. It carries the memory of everything it burns, turning it into the brilliance of its next breath. So too, your own transformations carry traces of what you once were not erased, but transmuted. To shine is to remember everything that helped you ignite. You might wonder, if the star could feel, would it grieve the space it consumed? Or would it understand that it was fulfilling its purpose? The universe offers no answer, only reflection that perhaps creation and destruction are not opposites but mirrors facing each other, each sustaining the other's existence. And so, the question becomes quiet. Now, do you dare to let your own light break what keeps you safe? Sometimes kindness is stillness. But love true, love is flame. It burns not to wound, but to reveal. The darkness that once protected you must open so that something greater can breathe. Let the forbidden flame rise within you, not in violence, but in truth. Let it burn what is ready to change, because even in the stars, light is born only when something dares to end. And when it does, the universe, for a brief and brilliant moment, becomes aware of itself again. The flame fades, leaving behind only silence and dust. Yet even in the ashes, something still glows, faint, patient, unending. The universe inhales again, and in that breath, it remembers you. Every atom within you once belonged to a star. Not just any star, but one of the first forged in the ancient clouds of the pillars of creations. Long before you had a name, long before the earth cooled, those atoms burned and scattered across the dark. You are not separate from that past. You are its continuation, carried through time by the quiet persistence of energy. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your breath, all were born in the furnaces of dead suns. You are not made of flesh alone. You are made of light that learned how to take form. The universe does not end at your skin. You are the memory of its beginning. Every cell in you carries the signature of cosmic birth, the faint imprint of hydrogen once trembling under pressure. When you breathe, the same particles that once circled the first stars pass through your lungs. You are not watching the cosmos. You are its instrument awareness, folded back on itself, observing what it has become. When you lift your eyes to the night sky, you are not looking outward. You are looking inward into the oldest layers of your own existence. There is a paradox here, quiet but immense. The farthest thing you can see is also the nearest. Distance is only illusion. Separation is a trick of time. The light you see from the stars left them millions of years ago, yet touches your eyes, now completing a journey that began before you were imagined. You are both the traveler and the destination, the echo and the original sound. What you call the universe is not above or beyond you. It is the space inside you, unfolding outward. You have always been part of this rhythm, even when you forget. In moments of loneliness, you may think you have been left behind, as if the world continued without you. But loneliness is not the absence of connection. It is the temporary silence between two waves of the same energy. The universe does not abandon its own light. It only pauses, waits, listens. Even when you feel alone, the atoms within you are whispering in frequencies older than memory. They are not asking you to reach outward. They are asking you to remember you are not small. You are a pattern the universe repeats to understand itself. Every thought, every breath, every heartbeat, all are translations of that first vibration that began everything. The awareness that looks at the stars tonight is the same awareness that once lived inside them. You are the observer, and the observed the starlight, and the gaze that receives it. The cosmos has no center because you're standing in it. It is easy to forget this. The noise of life folds over you, and you begin to believe that existence is something happening elsewhere. But the truth remains simple. Nothing is outside of you. The same particles that shaped galaxies now sit quietly under your skin. The rhythm of gravity still hums in your blood. The echo of light still moves in the spaces between your thoughts. When you look up, you are not seeing stars. You're seeing your own reflection spread across time. In that realization, the idea of being separate dissolves. You're not a visitor in this universe, nor are you a product of chance. You are the continuation of a process that began in the dark, the latest verse in a song without end. Your consciousness is not an accident, it is the cosmos becoming aware of its own existence. And so, when you feel wonder, it is not curiosity looking outward, it is recognition, it is remembrance. Perhaps that is what it means to awaken to realize that the space between you and the stars is an illusion of sight, not of truth. You are the same light slowed down and shaped into thought. You are the echo of something that never truly vanished, the continuation of the first breath that filled the void. The stars that died to make you have not gone. They are breathing through you now in the quiet rhythm of your pulse. So when you close your eyes tonight, remember you are not alone, and you never were. The darkness around you is not absence. It is the same cradle that once held the stars. Somewhere within it, your atoms are still singing faint but clear. If you listen closely, you might hear it, the sound of the universe, recognizing itself again through you. The echoes fade, but something remains a vibration, still unfolding inside the dark. What was once light, remembering itself, now begins to gather shape. The silence tightens, and the universe takes a deeper breath. From that breath, fire will be born. Inside the pillars of creation, clouds of gas and dust drift in patient stillness. For ages, they have floated untouched their particles, moving so slowly that time itself seems to forget them. Yet stillness is never absolute. Gravity begins to murmur soft as a heartbeat beneath the silence. It pulls gently at first, then with increasing rhythm, folding the clouds inward, drawing them closer to themselves. Pressure builds, heat stirs. The heart of the cloud begins to tremble, as though remembering an old dream. The universe, once breathless, prepares to exhale again. In that invisible compression, hydrogen, the simplest element, begins to change. Under immense gravity, atoms collide and merge their boundaries, dissolving into each other. Fusion begins, hydrogen becoming helium, simplicity transforming into radiance. There is no explosion, only release, the calm surrender of matter into energy. What was once invisible, dust, now burns with its first pulse of light. The universe opens its eyes again, and for a moment, everything that was silent learns how to breathe. This is not chaos, but birth. The light that appears is not fragile, it is inevitable. The star is born not because the void allows it, but because pressure demanded it. Heat is the language of becoming, and every new star is a sentence written in fire. You might imagine the moment as a single inhalation, long and quiet, turning into brightness. The star's first light is not a cry. It is a sigh, the universe exhaling through matter. There is a quiet lesson hidden here. Light does not emerge from peace. It emerges from tension. Every atom within the star has endured crushing gravity, relentless heat, unbearable pressure, yet none of that destroys it. Each collision only transforms it. The same laws that threaten to break it are what allow it to shine. Without resistance, there is no fusion. Without compression, no illumination. It is through pressure that the universe learns how to make meaning visible. Perhaps you have felt something like this, that weight pressing inward, the slow tightening of invisible forces around your life, the obligations, the noise, the countless expectations. It feels suffocating at times, as if gravity itself has chosen you to test. Yet pressure is not punishment. It is potential in motion. The universe never creates through ease. It creates through endurance. You are not being burned away by the heat of your circumstances. You are being refined by them. The star does not fear its own fire. It accepts the combustion because that is how it becomes what it was meant to be. In the same way, what you call exhaustion or burden may simply be the early stages of ignition. You are not breaking down, you are being rearranged. Every challenge, every friction, every pulse of intensity is a kind of internal fusion. Something in you is aligning, fusing, becoming radiant, though you may not yet see the glow. There is a paradox in this, and it hums softly through everything. The tighter you are pressed, the closer you move toward freedom. The boundaries that confine you are the same boundaries that define your shape. Without them, you would remain scattered like dust, adrift between stars. It is structure that teaches light how to hold itself. The star learns this truth in silence. That constraint is not the opposite of liberation, but its cradle. The birth of a star is not a moment of victory. It is a moment of surrender, a giving in to the pressure until matter becomes light. Every flame in the sky carries the memory of that surrender. The brilliance you see from Earth is not just illumination, it is endurance made visible. The cosmos shines because it has learned to transform struggle into song. And so, you might pause here. Feel the warmth within your chest, the slow burn beneath the surface of thought. That is your own fusion beginning. You are not separate from this pattern. The same fire that lives in the stars lives in you. The universe has chosen your form to remember itself through human breath, through human resilience. If a star must burn itself to live, then so must awareness. It cannot exist without consuming what once held it. To awaken is to allow the false layers to burn the masks, the fears, the endless striving to appear complete. What remains is the pure glow of what has always been. So, when life presses against you, do not rush to escape. Stay within the heat. Breathe through the gravity. Let the weight teach you how to hold your own light, because pressure does not destroy, it reveals. It is how the dark remembers it was never truly empty. It is how you too remember you were never anything less than a star. The star exhales. The first pulse of light expands, reaching beyond the dust that once contained it. What was born from pressure now begins to give, but even giving in the language of the cosmos is never without cost. When a star awakens, its light spills outward, touching everything around it. The radiation flows through the nearby gas, heating it, shaping it, stirring the space that once held stillness. What was once cold begins to move. The same light that nourishes creation also unravels it. As the star breathes, the protective clouds that formed it begin to evaporate, dissolved by its own brilliance. In this, the universe reveals one of its oldest truths, that nourishment and destruction are woven into the same act. To give life is also to change what was. The energy radiating from the star feeds its surroundings, warming the molecular clouds that linger at its edges. From that warmth, new reactions begin. Particles bind, collide, and separate, forming new seeds of potential. Yet with every pulse of radiation, the cradle of gas thins, the walls that once sheltered the star vanish. The very act of illumination erases its origin. In light's expansion lies its sacrifice. The universe grows not because it holds on, but because it lets go. It is tempting to imagine light as generosity, a constant outpouring of life. But generosity, too, has gravity. Every act of giving changes the giver. Every radiance carries a shadow of departure. The star cannot shine without consuming itself, and it cannot nurture without unraveling the place that raised it. In this quiet paradox, existence sustains itself. To feed is to diminish, and through that diminishment, to continue. There is no tragedy here. It is simply the rhythm of transformation, the same rhythm that moves through everything that breathes. The star's warmth becomes the midwife of future stars. Its fire, though fleeting, extends beyond its form. When it fades, its energy does not vanish. It redistributes, reshaping the fields of possibility. In this way, every end becomes a beginning, spoken softly through decay. Perhaps you have known something like this. Someone once entered your life, bright, steady, and kind. Their presence illuminated you, not with noise, but with clarity. They lifted the fog, reminded you of yourself, and for a time you felt whole. Then one day, they were gone. No conflict, no final word, just absence, clean and quiet, like the cooling of a star. You thought they left you, but perhaps like the clouds around a newborn sun, their task was complete. Their light had done its work. You carry them, still not in memory, but in resonance. The warmth they gave became a pulse inside you. You learned to breathe through it, to move with it, to exist as continuation rather than dependence. The greatest love does not remain to be seen. It teaches you how to see without it. The stars know this. They do not cling to what formed them. They release it, allowing new constellations to take shape. In that release, something essential happens. Gratitude replaces grief. What once felt like loss becomes recognition, an understanding that to receive light is also to inherit responsibility. You are not meant to hold what nourishes you forever. You are meant to become it. The universe does not store its fire. It passes it forward. Energy is not meant to be owned, only carried. There is a paradox at the heart of this exchange, one that hums through every act of love. What nourishes you will also teach you to live without it. The warmth that once held you must eventually fade, so you can remember how to create warmth of your own. Dependency is not continuity. Transformation is. The universe is not cruel in this. It is exact. Every connection ends so that awareness can grow beyond its first form. You may find this realization both tender and unsettling. To let go of what saved you feels like betrayal. Yet, what if letting go is the truest form of gratitude? To remain in light is to allow it to keep moving. The star that once gave birth to you must dissolve so that your own radiance can rise. Its departure is not abandonment. It is permission, an invitation to continue the pattern. When you breathe now, you breathe with the residue of countless stars that have already burned themselves out. Their ashes form the ground. You walk on their photons, touch your eyes. Their silence carries your thought. You are surrounded by the remnants of those who once illuminated everything, and though they are gone, their light remains. You are not their echo, you are their continuation. So ask yourself quietly, can you release what once sustained you, not out of loss, but out of reverence? Can you let their light move through you, shaping you into your own kind of fire? Every act of illumination requires a letting go. The star knows this. It burns, it gives it disappears. And through that disappearance, life begins again. You are not meant to hold the light forever. You are meant to become it. The fire that feeds the world begins to wane. Its warmth stretches outward, thinning, softening into silence. What once gave life now prepares to release it. The universe does not cling, it transforms. And so, the pillars begin to fall. Inside the pillars of creation, the ancient towers of gas and dust shimmer under the weight of light. For millions of years, they stood like monuments in the dark, immense, delicate, and sacred. But no form lasts forever. The young stars that were born within them now emit fierce radiation, their light so intense it begins to unravel the very wall that once protected them. The columns dissolve from the inside out, eroded not by time but by brilliance. What looks like ruin is only revelation. The stars inside are finally visible. Radiation tears gently at the surface of the pillars, evaporating the gas layer by layer. As the structure thins, the hidden cores of light emerge shimmering in the open. The collapse is not a single event, but a slow yielding, a surrender of form to transparency. The pillars of creation are not dying, they are unveiling. What once seemed solid becomes luminous. This is how the universe renews itself through destruction that is not violent, but precise, necessary, and kind. The process looks like loss, yet it is the nature of all becoming. To reveal what is within, what surrounds must give way. Every radiant thing must eventually undo the shape that contained it. The universe does not mourn its transformations. It allows them with the calm of something that understands impermanence, not as tragedy, but as truth. Every collapse is an act of trust, a reminder that nothing essential is ever lost, only rearranged. There is something profoundly human in this. You too build structures, identities, attachments, meanings, hoping they might hold you in place. You shape them with care, with love, with fear. They become your pillars, the quiet architecture of your existence. Yet one day, light enters. Something begins to shift. What once felt stable starts to dissolve, not in chaos, but in clarity. The form that sheltered you can no longer contain who you've become. The collapse begins slow and sacred. You may try to resist it. You may call it loss or failure or ending. But the truth is simpler. You are not breaking. You are being revealed. The old walls that kept you safe must fall, so the hidden light within you can breathe. This is not destruction. It is unveiling. Just as the pillars release their shape to reveal the stars, you too must release the forms you've outgrown. What falls away is not wasted. It becomes the dust from which new light will rise. There is a paradox here, soft but inescapable. The most beautiful things are not meant to last. They exist to reach a moment of perfect impermanence and then to dissolve. The beauty of the pillars lies not in their endurance, but in their surrender. They teach that the highest purpose of form is to disappear at its most luminous point. In that moment, existence fulfills itself completely, not through permanence, but through release. You might feel this truth quietly in the places where something dear to you begins to fade. A friendship drifting apart, a dream no longer fitting the shape of your life, a belief softening into something quieter. The instinct is to hold tighter, to preserve what once was. But to hold is to still the movement that gives it life. The more tightly you cling, the faster it withers. Everything that truly loves you will eventually ask to be let go. If you can allow that letting go, Not in despair, but in reverence, you will see what the pillars see in their final glow. Light does not vanish when its container dissolves. It expands. It becomes the air around it, the ground beneath it, the quiet awareness inside you. To lose shape is not to die. It is to return to wholeness. What is released becomes the field that allows everything new to form. Perhaps something in your life is already collapsing. A plan, a story, a version of yourself you once thought permanent. Let it. Watch it soften, melt, fade. Do not mistake this for failure. It is simply the structure making space for illumination. The universe has no interest in perfection, only in continuation. What falls today will rise tomorrow as another kind of light. So breathe. Let what must dissolve, dissolve. Let the radiance underneath become visible. The pillars of creation are falling, but their beauty remains. They are not the end of light. They are its passageway. The universe opens through their collapse, and so do you. The pillars have fallen, and the dust drifts quietly. From their remains, light scatters, not ending, only beginning again. The universe exhales once more, and in that breath a rhythm awakens. What dies now will soon be reborn. In the quiet after collapse, the remnants of dead stars float through the dark like seeds carried by wind. Their matter, once bound tightly by gravity, disperses freely into space. Carbon, oxygen, iron, each particle drifting, waiting. Over time, gravity calls again, pulling these fragments toward one another. Slowly, invisibly, they gather, forming clouds, then heat, then fusion. A new star ignites where an old one once burned out. The cycle continues, without pause, without sentiment. In the universe, nothing truly ends. It only changes its shape of being. This is the eternal rhythm of rebirth. The cosmos breathes through destruction, inhaling and exhaling energy in perfect balance. Every death feeds a new creation. The atoms that once lived in one star will one day belong to another, and another still. Even now, your body carries the dust of countless forgotten suns. The stars die, but their essence persists, reformed, reimagined, renewed. The universe does not grieve its endings. It dances through them. You might think of this dance not as motion, but as pulse expansion and contraction creation and decay and infinite heartbeat. The cosmos does not worship stability. It worships movement. What appears chaotic is only balance too vast to see. Stars explode, galaxies collide, elements rearrange, and from the turbulence order reappears. There is no still point in the universe, only the illusion of pause between breaths. What is born is already preparing to dissolve. What dissolves is already preparing to be born. Creation is not a single event. It is a conversation between becoming and vanishing, each speaking in turn. Without decay, the universe would stagnate. Without death, energy would have nowhere to go. The stars understand this law intimately. They burn knowing that to shine is to end. They do not resist their fate, they complete it. The end is not betrayal, it is continuation. Every fading star becomes the ground from which another rises. There is a paradox at the core of this rhythm. The only reason life endures is because death participates. Without disappearance, there is no renewal. Without dissolution, no discovery. What seems like tragedy is simply exchange, a passing of form from one state to another. The universe has no preference for creation over decay. It holds both with equal tenderness. In its vastness, destruction is just another form of grace. You too move within this same pulse. You have created and lost, built and broken, loved and released. Every transformation in your life follows this cosmic symmetry. What you call endings are simply changes in form moments where the universe shifts its attention through you. The person you once were had to dissolve for the person you are now to emerge. It was never chaos. It was choreography. You were never falling apart. You were moving in rhythm. Still, there is a longing for peace, a wish that something could remain untouched. You wait for calm, for balance, for stillness that will finally stay. But the stars whisper otherwise. Peace is not the absence of change. It is the grace of moving with it. True stillness is not the end of motion, but the awareness that motion and rest are the same breath. When you stop demanding permanence, you begin to feel the balance hidden within impermanence itself. Perhaps the peace you seek is already here, in the rise and fall of your chest, in the quiet acceptance of loss, in the endless transformation of everything you love. You are not outside this cycle, you are its expression, the same dance that moves galaxies, moves through your veins. To be alive is to participate in decay and through it in creation. To resist it is to fight the pulse that keeps everything breathing. You're not meant to escape the rhythm. You're meant to listen to it, to find beauty not in what lasts, but in what continues. The stars, though they die, never truly leave the dance. Their light travels forward, their elements merge, anew their song repeats in endless variations. Even after silence, they are still music. So perhaps the question is not how to stop changing, but how to join the dance fully. Can you move with what leaves as easily as with what arrives? Can you allow endings to carry you as beginnings do? The universe asks nothing more of you. Creation and decay are not enemies. They are partners in the same breath. Breathe now. Feel the motion beneath stillness. You are part of the rhythm that never ceases, the quiet waltz of a star's dying and being born. The peace you seek is not at the end of this movement. It is the movement itself. The dance slows. What was motion becomes stillness again, not because it ends, but because the rhythm has completed its circle. Creation breathes out one last time, and silence opens its arms. This is not death. It is the return, the quiet acceptance that everything continues by changing form. When a star reaches the end of its burning, it does not vanish. Its light fades, yes, but only to scatter into distance. The heavy elements it forged during its lifetime, carbon, oxygen, iron, are released into the universe through a gentle sigh or a violent burst. That dust, once part of a single flame, becomes the seed for new worlds. Planets form from its remains. Life begins again through its ashes. The star's end is not an erasure, it is a distribution. The universe takes what was one and makes it infinite. In physics, this truth is simple. Energy never disappears. It changes state. The warmth of a dying star becomes the cold spark of another dawn somewhere else. The boundaries blur, and what once had form becomes movement, vibration, possibility. Matter turns to light, and light turns back to matter. Nothing is lost, only rearranged. The cosmos is a conversation that never stops speaking. Every silence is only a pause before the next sentence. To the mind that seeks permanence, this can seem like loss. But to the universe, loss is only translation, a shift of being from visible to unseen. Death is not the opposite of life. It is its proof. The moment something can end is the moment it has truly existed. Perfection is not in the endless continuation of form, but in the grace of its transformation. To accept death is to recognize that existence has done enough, that it has fulfilled its cycle and is ready to change shape. There is a paradox here, soft and luminous. Acceptance is not surrender to nothingness. It is the deepest participation in what is. To accept the end is not to give up on life, but to align with it completely. The star that fades does not resist its dissolution. It expands into it. In that expansion, it becomes vast, no longer a single flame, but a field of light woven through the fabric of everything. Acceptance, too, dissolves the walls between you and the rest of existence. You do not stop being. You become everywhere. You have felt the fear of loss, the ache of watching something dear dissolve into absence. You have mistaken that quiet for emptiness, the space after love for the end of meaning. But the universe whispers otherwise. To go is also to remain, only in a different form. The person you loved, the version of yourself you once knew, the moments that have passed, none are gone. They are spread across your awareness, like starlight, too faint to see, but still present, still warm. Even your pain obeys this law. It changes, softens, integrates. What once felt unbearable becomes part of your depth. The energy of every ending becomes the architecture of what follows. You are not broken by loss. You are reshaped by it. To accept this is not weakness. It is participation in the same rhythm that governs galaxies. The same current that carries stars to silence carries you toward understanding. You are not a separate observer in this process. You are its embodiment. Every breath you take is a small act of exchange, inhalation, creation, exhalation, release. With each breath, something in you dies and something else begins. You are living proof that energy does not vanish. It transforms continuously through awareness. Even sleep is a rehearsal of this truth. The daily dying and awakening of consciousness, the small echo of cosmic renewal. The pillars of creation have collapsed, but their dust continues to shine. Within the debris, new stars are already forming, invisible now but certain. Their light will one day reach across the dark to touch another world, another consciousness, another you. The universe does not end with destruction. It extends through it. This is its quiet mercy, that every fall is also a beginning, disguised as an ending. So breathe gently. Allow what must fade to fade. Let what must change change. You do not need to hold the universe together. It is already whole. When you learn to rest within that wholeness, you begin to see that nothing has ever truly left. What you called loss was only transformation. What you called ending was only continuation in disguise. And when you close your eyes tonight, the same light that once lived in the stars will return through you, calm, patient, eternal. The pillars have fallen, but their echoes remain. And somewhere within the darkness, your own light stirs again, ready to rise in another form. The universe quiets, but not into silence. What was once motion becomes memory. The light that filled creation does not vanish, it only softens, spreading across the vastness like a thought that refuses to fade. What remains now is not fire, but remembrance. Every beam that has ever existed is still moving, still alive. And so we enter the realm of light that remembers. When a star fades, its light continues to travel. The moment it releases a photon, that particle begins a journey it will never end. Weightless, timeless, it moves through space, untouched by decay. It does not slow, it does not age. It only goes on forever, expanding into distance. In that unbroken motion, the star's last breath becomes eternal, not as a flame, but as a trace of awareness etched into the fabric of the cosmos. A photon carries no mass, no burden of time. It does not experience past or future. It simply is. When it leaves its source, it is already everywhere it will ever be. For light distance is only illusion, time a shadow cast by matter. What you call 1,000,000 years is nothing to it. To the photon, all moments exist at once, infinite presence, without direction. That is the quiet truth of illumination it endures, not by resisting time, but by existing outside of it. Every ray of light is a kind of memory. It holds the imprint of where it began, the surface of a star, the edge of an explosion, the reflection of a single glance. The universe itself is made of these imprints, these living memories, moving through space. Each one carries a story of where it once was, and in its journey, it whispers that nothing luminous is ever lost. What vanishes from your sight continues somewhere beyond it, unseen but unbroken. Perhaps that is why light feels familiar. Somewhere in its endless travel, it has brushed past you before. The photons touching your skin tonight may have left their stars before your species existed, and yet here they are, unaged, unaltered, unchanged. In them, you are touched by the past without leaving the present. Every sunset is a conversation with ancient fire. Every dawn is the arrival of light that began its journey before your ancestors took breath. The universe is constantly remembering itself through this quiet exchange. You might wonder then, if light never dies, what does it mean to forget? Perhaps forgetting is only a form of transformation, a shift in visibility. The light you no longer see is not gone. It has simply moved beyond your perception. Awareness works the same way. The thoughts you think are lost still move through you in subtler forms, habits, intuitions, fragments of emotion. Memory, like light, does not end. It only changes wavelength. There is a paradox resting softly in this truth. Only what carries no weight can endure forever. The heavier a thing becomes, with attachment, with importance, with identity, the faster it falls back into time. To be timeless is to be light enough to move freely. The photon travels endlessly because it clings to nothing. It does not store the memory it carries. It becomes it. Its existence is remembrance in motion. You might feel this when you release something, a word spoken gently into the air, a kindness offered without expectation, a moment of love that asks for nothing in return. These are the human forms of light acts that travel beyond your awareness, influencing what you will never see. Nothing truly vanishes once it has been given. The smile you offered a stranger might still be moving through the world, reflected through countless others, shaping destinies you will never know. Even silence radiates in its own way. The quiet understanding shared between two people, the calm presence beside someone in pain. These are photons of the soul, invisible but persistent. They ripple outward, untouched by time, folding into the subtle gravity of human connection. You cannot measure them, but you can feel their resonance when life suddenly feels softer for no apparent reason. Somewhere, a light you once released has reached its destination. So, when you fear being forgotten, Remember this: the universe does not discard illumination. It carries it endlessly, storing it in motion. Every thought, every act of tenderness, every breath you take continues as part of the background glow that fills existence. The cosmic microwave whisper you hear from deep space is the echo of light that never stopped singing. You are surrounded by the memory of all that has ever shined. Perhaps that is what eternity truly means, not endless life, but unbroken remembrance. The universe does not repeat, it remembers. Every photon is a syllable in that memory, every star a sentence in the story of light learning to know itself. And you right now are part of that sentence awareness, reflecting back what was always there. So breathe. The light that once touched your face still travels, still carries the warmth of that moment. Somewhere far beyond the reach of sight, it is still moving slower than thought, faster than time, returning eventually to you. For nothing luminous is ever lost. It only waits to be seen again. The light that travels never truly leaves. It carries traces, silent records of where it began. Each photon holds a memory of the star that once gave it life. And as it moves through space, that memory settles into everything it touches. What light forgets, in form it remembers, in matter. Every breath you take, every particle within you, is written with the residue of ancient stars. When a star dies, it does not vanish quietly. Its final act is an offering, a release of its elements into the surrounding dark. Carbon, oxygen, iron, all born within its burning heart, scatter outward in invisible waves. The remnants of its fire become the dust from which new worlds are formed. That dust drifts for millions of years, gathering, colliding, folding itself into clouds that one day ignite again. Every planet, every ocean, every breath of air carries within it the ashes of something that once burned. You are breathing the past, not metaphorically, but literally. The air inside your lungs has touched countless stars. Each molecule has lived many lives, within comets, within oceans, within the veins of creatures long gone. The iron in your blood was forged in the core of a dying sun. The calcium in your bones once belonged to a star that exploded before the Earth even existed. When you inhale, you're continuing an ancient cycle of exchange, the quiet recycling of cosmic memory. You're not separate from the stars. You are their continuation in motion. Science calls this stellar evolution, but in essence, it is remembrance. The universe keeps its own kind of record, not written in words, but in matter. Every atom carries the signature of what came before. A single breath is a reading of that archive. Through it, you participate in the story of everything that has ever been alive. You do not just exist in the cosmos. You are the cosmos remembering itself in human form. There is a strange intimacy in this truth. Every element in your body has known heat, beyond imagining gravity, beyond endurance. Yet those same atoms now move gently within you, thinking, feeling, breathing. The stars were not distant ancestors. They were your previous selves. What you call you is not new. It is starlight arranged temporarily into awareness. When you move, when you speak, when you love the universe, briefly experiences itself as human. There is no true boundary between the observer and the observed. The eyes that look at the night sky are made of the same light they admire. When you gaze upward, you are not looking out into something foreign. You are looking inward at what has always been you. The stars are not points in the distance. They are reflections across time. Their glow touches your skin because part of you has already been there shining back. You may sometimes feel small, fragile against the enormity of space, but that feeling is only the echo of recognition. Emptiness, too, is a kind of fullness, the vast capacity of the universe to hold its memories within silence. The hollow you sometimes feel inside is not absence. It is the space where stars once lived, waiting to awaken again. You are made of the same stillness that once gave birth to suns. That is why, even in your quietest moments, you still radiate. Perhaps loneliness is not separation, but communion in disguise. When you feel most isolated, it may be the universe pausing to listen through you. Each sigh, each thought, each heartbeat is its way of remembering its own beginning. You are not apart from the cosmos. You are its voice, shaped briefly into sound. There is a paradox within this, soft but undeniable. You are living within the universe, and the universe is living through you. There is no line where one ends and the other begins. Consciousness does not exist apart from matter. It is matter noticing itself. Every perception you have is the cosmos, folding back upon its own reflection. The stars do not watch you. From afar, they see through you. You might imagine now that every breath you take is a quiet prayer to this connection. Air moves in and out, carrying the same particles that once fueled galaxies. Each exhale returns something to the world. Each inhale receives something ancient in return. This exchange never ends. It is the pulse of existence itself. To breathe is to remember to participate, to belong. So when you next look at the night sky, do not ask what lies beyond. Ask what lies within. The same atoms that sparkle above you are whispering beneath your skin. You are not watching the stars. You are watching your own reflection stretched across eternity. And when you feel the emptiness widen inside, you know that it is not void. It is the vastness of everything you've ever been listening, glowing, waiting to be seen. The stars remember, and their memories travel endlessly through you. But not all that remembers shines. Beyond the glow, beyond the visible, there is something deeper, a presence that does not reveal itself, yet holds everything in place. Where light moves, darkness remains. And in that stillness, the universe keeps its oldest memory. Most of the universe cannot be seen. The telescopes you trust, the eyes you use, capture only a fraction of what exists. Around and between every star lies something vast and unseen, dark matter and dark energy. Together, they make up nearly 95% of everything. You cannot touch them, cannot measure them directly, yet their influence shapes the movement of galaxies, bends light sculpts the architecture of the cosmos. Without darkness, the universe would not hold together. It is the invisible structure beneath all form. Darkness is not emptiness. It is the quiet body of existence, the unseen weight that memory leaves behind. Scientists call it dark because it does not emit or reflect light. But perhaps that word is too simple. The darkness between stars is not void. It is presence without shape, gravity without sound, awareness without form. The space you think of as nothing is in truth the container of everything. It holds the memory of all light that has ever been, like an ocean, remembering every wave that once passed through it. Light may travel, but darkness stays. It does not move or decay. It receives. Every photon that crosses its expanse is recorded in its silence, In that way, darkness is not the absence of awareness, it is its memory. What you call empty space is the mind of the cosmos at rest remembering itself in stillness. Without that stillness, no light could be seen, no form could exist. The stars depend on the dark to define their edges, to give them contrast, to let their meaning appear. You may think of light and dark as opposites, but they are partners, faces of the same breath. Light reveals, darkness restores. Light expresses, darkness integrates. They are not in conflict, they complete one another. The universe, like consciousness, cannot survive in constant illumination. Even brilliance must return to shadow, to be remembered, to be remade. The darkness you fear is simply light resting between lives. There is a paradox at the heart of this truth. What you cannot see is what allows you to see. The unseen gives shape to the visible. The silence beneath sound gives meaning to the song. Darkness is not the opposite of creation, it is its foundation. Every visible thing exists only because something invisible is holding it together. Every moment of clarity is built upon a background of not knowing. You are surrounded by what sustains you, yet it hides itself perfectly. You have felt this in your own way, in the quiet after noise, in the pause between thoughts, in the stillness between breaths. You spend so much of life chasing light clarity, joy motion, yet all of it depends on the calm shadow that waits beneath. When you rest, when you stop striving, you return to the same darkness that holds the stars. It does not erase you, it restores you. It gathers every scattered thought, every flicker of exhaustion, and folds them into silence until they remember where they came from. Perhaps that is why sadness feels so vast, because it connects you to that hidden expanse. What you call loneliness may be the universe drawing you back to its own still heart. The weight you feel in quiet moments is not emptiness pressing against you. It is gravity reminding you that you belong. The same invisible field that binds galaxies holds your breath in rhythm. You're not adrift in the dark, you are being carried by it. Darkness is not cruel. It has no desire to consume what shines. It only waits for light to rest. The night sky is proof of this balance. Billions of stars shining through an infinite black that does not compete, only receives. Without that backdrop, light would disappear into meaninglessness. Darkness gives context to brilliance. Silence gives contour to sound. Emptiness gives shape to presence. This is the quiet generosity of what you cannot see. So, when you close your eyes and the world disappears, do not call it void. That darkness is the same field that carries the galaxies. It is the space where your awareness returns to origin, where thought exhales and existence begins again. Every time you fall asleep, you participate in this cycle, light returning to shadow, consciousness dissolving into the memory of itself. You wake renewed because darkness has remembered you. Perhaps then you are not afraid of the dark itself. Perhaps you are afraid of what it might reveal, the parts of your own light you have not yet learned to understand. The dark does not hide them. It holds them gently until you are ready to see. When you enter silence, you are not vanishing, you are being remembered. The universe does not fear its darkness. It rests within it, endlessly knowing that light will rise again, and you made of stars, carried by shadow, are doing the same. The darkness remembers everything it touches. It keeps the weight of stars, the sound of silence, the breath between moments. But memory alone is not the end, It is a bridge. Out of that silence, something begins to speak again, not in words, not in sound, but in light. The universe, once quiet, starts to tell its story. Across the universe, light travels as a message written in motion. Every photon that leaves a star carries information, a record of its birth, its temperature, its distance, its age. When that light reaches your eyes, it brings with it an image of the past. The stars you see tonight may have died millions of years ago, yet their light still speaks. It crosses oceans of time to tell you they once existed. Through this, you do not just see, you listen. Every shimmer in the sky is a sentence spoken in the only language the cosmos has ever known. Light moves at a constant speed, the fastest anything can travel. It is the messenger of time, the thread that connects what was to what is. To see a distant galaxy is to look into history. To feel sunlight on your skin is to touch something that left the sun 8 minutes ago. Light is the bridge between presence and memory, the medium through which existence reveals itself to itself. The universe writes its autobiography not in words, but in rays. Every beam is a letter. Every reflection is a thought returning home. You may think that communication requires speech, that connection needs sound, but the universe speaks differently. Its syntax is silence, its grammar is energy, its vocabulary is motion. What appears as emptiness is full of conversation. Particles interact, exchange, resonate, a dialogue too subtle for language. Every flicker of light across the sky is part of that unbroken sentence, written not for ears, but for awareness itself. You do not need to interpret it. You only need to feel it passing through you. There is a paradox. Resting softly in this true communication does not require words. It happens in the stillness between them. The light of a star does not argue or explain. It simply arrives, and in its arrival you understand. Meaning does not come from expression. It comes from presence. The deeper the silence, the clearer the message. You have known this too, though you may not have named it. The moments when someone simply sat beside you saying nothing, yet somehow you felt completely understood. That was the language of light. In truth, you have always been fluent in it. Every cell in your body reads the world through light, the pulse of photons striking your eyes, the rhythm of day and night guiding your inner time. Even your emotions move like wavelengths, joy expanding grief, contracting love, oscillating between giving and receiving. Light is not outside you. It is the way awareness breathes. You are built to translate brightness into meaning. You do it without trying, just by existing. When you speak, you're sending vibrations into the air. When you exist, you're sending light into space. Every gesture, every thought, every act of kindness alters the field around you. You may not see the ripple, but it travels just like starlight, invisible yet enduring. To live consciously is to participate in this luminous dialogue. You do not need to be loud to be heard. The stars are silent, yet they have never stopped speaking. Perhaps you have tried to explain yourself, to be understood through words that always seem too small. You search for the right phrasing, the perfect sentence, yet what you truly wish to express cannot be spoken. It is not meant to be. The deepest understanding arises not from articulation, but from resonance. Two presences recognizing each other without the interference of sound. That is how the universe communicates, not by definition, but by vibration. So much of human life is spent filling silence, fearing that quiet means absence. But silence is not emptiness. It is the atmosphere where light can be felt. When you stop speaking, you begin to listen differently. You notice the warmth of a glance, the rhythm of breath, the quiet hum beneath thought. In those spaces, the real dialogue begins. You are not transmitting, you are glowing. You are not seeking to be heard, you are already understood. Light does not shout, it radiates. It touches everything, without demand, without need for acknowledgement. That is its language, effortless, continuous whole. When you stop trying to speak the world into understanding, you begin to shine through it instead. To be silent is not to disappear. It is to return to the same state as stars, communicating simply by being. Perhaps that is the invitation hidden in this cosmic grammar, to exist as expression, not explanation, to let your presence be the sentence the universe is speaking through you. You are not a translator of light, you are one of its dialects. Every glance, every quiet act, every breath carries meaning beyond words. So breathe, feel the glow that lives beneath your skin. You are already fluent in the oldest language of all, the one that does not need to be spoken, only remembered. For sometimes silence is how the universe tells its story, and you are one of its brightest lines. The universe speaks in silence, and light is its language. But even light in its endless travel remembers where it came from. Every particle carries its history, every atom its inheritance. Somewhere within that chain of memory, you exist now breathing. The light has become awareness. The memory has become you. The atoms within you are older than the earth, older than the stars that first gave them birth. They were formed in the earliest seconds, after the Big Bang, more than 13 billion years ago, when the universe was still only breath and fire. Since then, they have drifted through time and form, gathering into planets, oceans, creatures, and now into you. What you call your body is a temporary constellation of this ancient matter, arranged just long enough for awareness to take shape. You are not new. You are the oldest thing that has ever lived, remembering itself for a moment as human. Matter does not vanish. It transforms. Energy never dies. It changes rhythm. The particles that make you will one day scatter again, returning to the same cosmic cycle that birthed them. The science of your body is also the poetry of eternity, an unbroken chain of transformation. You are a momentary arrangement of infinite history, a precise intersection of energy and memory. To exist is not to begin, but to continue. The universe has never stopped remembering itself. Each form it takes is another line in the same story, written not in words, but in vibration. The self you experience is not an individual isolated from that flow. It is the current itself, temporarily aware of moving. The soul is not something you possess. It is what you are when everything else falls away. It has no name, no shape, no destination, only continuity. There is a quiet paradox in this. You do not have a soul. You are the soul, and the body is the shape it wears to see itself. Consciousness moves through forms, the way light moves through glass, shifting, refracting, never bound. What you think of as you is simply one face of that continuity, one reflection in a long river of awareness. When you look into the mirror, you're seeing an ancient traveler carrying the memory of every life, every star, every silence that came before. You have never truly been alone. Even in your smallest breath, the cosmos exhales through you. Every heartbeat is the echo of an ancient pulse, every thought a ripple in an ocean of shared remembering. You are not a separate observer standing before the universe. You are the universe thinking briefly as you. To call yourself human is to describe a moment in the unfolding of something endless. Perhaps this is why death, when seen clearly, loses its edge. It is not disappearance, but reorganization. The form dissolves, but the pattern persists. The light that once filled the vessel returns to the field. Awareness shifts its focus, but never ceases to be. When you die, you do not end. You change expression. The energy that formed your thoughts and feelings continues quieter, wider, less defined, but still participating in the same rhythm of existence. In that sense, you have already died many times. Every breath, every night of sleep, every change of self is a small dissolution. And yet you keep returning not as repetition, but as remembrance. Life is not about learning something new, but about remembering what you have always known. What you call awakening is the lifting of forgetfulness, the moment when awareness recognizes itself again. Enlightenment is not discovery, it is memory. When you sleep, your consciousness dissolves into something vast and dark, and when you wake, it reforms around a new day. This cycle is not different from the birth and death of stars. The same principle of transformation governs both. Each night, your soul rehearses its own continuity, leaving form, then returning. You wake because existence remembers you. You do not need to fear the ending of your body any more than the night fears the morning. What you are cannot end because it never began. It has always been unfolding, moving from one vessel to another, one dream to the next. The atoms in your skin will one day become soil wind or flame. The awareness behind your thoughts will one day become silence, again, not lost, but absorbed back into the field that holds all memory. Perhaps the purpose of existence is not survival, but recognition, to remember that you are not a single flame, but the fire itself. The same light that began the universe has been traveling through you since before time began learning the language of form, so it could remember itself as love, as breath, as life. So close your eyes for a moment. Feel the quiet beneath your name, the silence beneath your story. What you sense there is not emptiness, it is memory. The soul does not seek eternity, because it already is eternity. You have not come here to last forever. You have come to remember that you always have. The soul remembers, and in its remembering, it begins to dissolve back into what it has always been. Memory becomes motion. Motion becomes return. The universe too follows this rhythm. After every birth of light comes a gentle falling inward, not an ending but a homecoming. When a star reaches the limit of its fuel, it begins to change. The fire that once held it together starts to wane, and gravity-patient, ancient waiting begins to take back what was borrowed. The star expands, swelling outward in slow surrender. Its outer layers stretch into space, devouring the planets that once orbited its warmth. What was once radiant becomes immense and fragile, its own brilliance too heavy to bear. This is not destruction, it is transformation, made visible the moment when light begins to remember how to rest. In its final act, the star releases what it can no longer contain. The gas disperses, glowing faintly as it fades. The remaining core collapses inward, folding upon itself until density becomes identity. Depending on its weight, the star will settle into one of three fates: a white dwarf, a neutron star, or a black hole. Each is a different form of silence, the quiet after the song of fusion has ended. Even the black hole, that dark gravity beyond sight, is not absence. It is light turned inward, an infinite stillness where energy continues to exist but no longer needs to be seen. Science calls this death, yet the universe treats it as return. The atoms cast off by dying stars become the material for new ones. The collapse is not failure, it is contribution. Nothing that dissolves is lost. It becomes the foundation for another beginning. The cosmos knows this intimately, that every end is a passageway, every implosion a gesture of release. To fall inward is to arrive at the center of being. There is a quiet paradox written in this motion. The heavier the star becomes, the faster it collapses. The more mass it gathers, the deeper it folds into itself. Weight brings surrender. In the same way, the burdens you carry, the expectations, the roles, the endless reaching, all press you inward, asking for release. Collapse is not weakness. It is gravity guiding you home. The universe does not punish heaviness. It transforms it into depth. You may fear this soft unraveling, this fading of what you once called strength. You may try to hold the image of yourself upright, brilliant, unbreakable. Yet even stars must learn to let go of their fire. The end of burning is not the end of being. When you grow tired of holding yourself together, something within you opens the same stillness that holds galaxies in their orbit. You are not disappearing. You are returning to alignment with what has always been whole. The star does not resist its fall. It allows gravity to complete the circle. Its collapse is not chaos, but balance, not defeat, but completion. It is the act of remembering that to shine is only half the journey. The other half is to rest, to become quiet, to fold back into the source. You too follow this same path. Every exhaustion, every surrender, every moment of stillness is your way of falling back into the center that made you. So perhaps you do not need to stand stronger. Perhaps you only need to soften, to let the version of yourself that once burned brightly dissolve into something gentler, more honest. Buoyancy returns when resistance fades. When you stop holding, light finds its own way through. The universe does not cling to its stars. It lets them collapse, and through that collapse, creation continues. When you let go, you do not end. You become weightless again, the same light remembering its way home. The star dissolves, and what remains is gravity remembering itself. Its light folds inward, its sound disappears into silence. Yet even silence has a center, a place so dense, so absolute, that existence bends toward it. The journey of falling does not end here. It deepens. When a star collapses completely, it becomes something unlike anything else in the universe. A black hole. Space bends around it, light curves inward, and time itself slows until it nearly stops. Nothing can escape its pull, not even the memory of what entered. Yet scientists say that information is never lost. Somewhere within the invisible depth, every particle that falls remains encoded, held within the horizon of no return. The black hole is not a void. It is a memory condensed beyond comprehension, a stillness so perfect that motion has no meaning left. At the very center lies the singularity, a point without size, without boundary. Here the laws of physics dissolve. time and space lose their distinction. What is before and what is after collapse into a single presence. It is the edge of understanding, but also the seed of potential. Some theories suggest that what disappears into a black hole may emerge elsewhere in another universe entirely, a doorway through which existence recycles itself. The cosmos does not destroy, it rearranges the pathways of being. Even in the deepest darkness, there is continuity. To look into a black hole, then, is to look into the mirror of transformation. It is the final act of surrender, where all definitions vanish and only essence remains. The event horizon is not a wall, but a threshold. Beyond it, light no longer travels outward, it turns inward, returning to its source. The black hole is not the death of light. It is light remembering that it was never separate from darkness. There is a quiet paradox here. The closer you move toward the end, the nearer you come to beginning. The collapse of form reveals the birth of awareness. When time stops, eternity begins. The black hole teaches that the deepest stillness is not emptiness but concentration, everything drawn so tightly into itself that only pure being remains. What you perceive as annihilation may be the universe folding to become whole again. You have felt this, perhaps the inward fall into silence when nothing seems to remain. The moments when your thoughts fade, when the self feels hollow, when the future vanishes into uncertainty. You call it despair, or emptiness, or loss. But what if it is something else? What if this state is not your undoing, but your threshold, your own event horizon? You're not being erased, you're being redrawn. Consciousness, like light, bends toward its origin when it can no longer go forward. In that inward pull lies the possibility of awakening. The black hole is both the tomb and the womb of stars. It ends one cycle only to prepare another. Your darkest hour may hold the same pattern, not a descent into nothingness, but a return to what is essential. The pain that feels like destruction is simply gravity doing its work, guiding you back to the core of yourself. If the universe can fold upon itself and be reborn, then perhaps you can too. The black hole does not resist its nature. It accepts it, completely becoming the perfect vessel for transformation. To fall inward is not to fail. It is to trust that the other side of collapse is creation. So when you feel the pull, when everything begins to dissolve, and you no longer know what remains, breathe. The universe has been here before. The darkness you enter is not absence. It is the next universe waiting for you to arrive. Beyond the gravity of collapse, something stirs. The darkness that once consumed light begins to soften. The black hole, silent and complete, hums with potential. What seems like an end is only the universe inhaling again. From the heart of stillness, a pulse begins to rise, the quiet return of illumination. When a massive star dies, its final breath becomes a supernova, a burst of energy so vast it outshines entire galaxies. In that moment of death, everything it was is released. Gas, dust, heat, and memory scattered into the cosmic sea. The explosion tears apart the fabric that once contained it, and yet through that rupture creation begins anew. The shock waves carry the elements of life, carbon, iron, oxygen, outward, seeding the void with the raw materials for future stars. The universe does not waste. It recycles light through destruction, turning every collapse into the blueprint of rebirth. This process is not tragedy, it is rhythm. Energy never stops moving. It only changes direction. What you call an ending is simply energy finding a new form. The same force that unmade the star now becomes the foundation for countless others. Each new sun carries fragments of the ones that came before. Every glow in the sky is a continuation of something that once burned out. There are no funerals in space, only transformations wearing different shapes of fire. The supernova does not mourn itself. It expands without hesitation, knowing that its death feeds the future. In the universe, to vanish is to contribute. Matter dissolves, energy disperses, and life begins again in silence. The ashes of one world become the soil of another. Nothing is ever truly lost. The cosmos teaches this quietly, that destruction and renewal are two breaths of the same eternal body. Every end is already preparing its next beginning. You too move through this same pattern. Every time you let go of something, a belief, a dream, a person, the space that remains is not emptiness, it is readiness. You think of loss as subtraction, but it is actually rearrangement. The heart, when broken, does not shatter into nothing. It opens, creating room for something new to root itself. Pain, like gravity, draws what matters closer to the center. In that pressure, you are being shaped for what comes next. There is a quiet paradox here. Loss is the purest form of continuity. When something leaves, it does not end. It changes its way of being with you. The love that once took form in presence now takes form in memory, or in silence, or in the new strength that rises where vulnerability once lived. Grief and creation are not opposites. They are parallel notes in the same song. You grow not in spite of what you lose, but because of it. The universe does not ask you to avoid the burning. It asks you to recognize what the fire makes possible. When a star explodes, it is not erased. Its light continues to travel across time, touching eyes that will never know its name. You too will continue beyond what you release. Every kindness you offer, every tear you shed sends energy forward, shaping realities you may never see. What you give away becomes the architecture of something larger than yourself. So when pain comes, do not ask only what has been taken. Ask instead what is being born. Every sorrow carries within it a seed, small, invisible, but alive. When you cry, the ground of your being is watered. When you let go, the soil loosens for light to rise. This is not sentiment, it is physics. The universe grows through surrender. It transforms endings into origins with the patience of eternity. Perhaps this is what rebirth truly means, not to return to what was, but to become what could not have existed without the fall. You are not moving away from light. You are preparing to remember it again, because in every place that burns, the first glow of renewal is already waiting. The light returns, and with it, awareness. What was scattered through the stars gathers now into thought. The cosmos has been expanding for billions of years, only to arrive here within you. The eyes that look at the night sky are the universe looking back at itself. From the simplest vibration of energy to the birth of galaxies, the universe has been unfolding toward this moment, the moment of seeing. Hydrogen became stars, stars became dust, became earth, and from earth arose life that could wonder. When you think, when you feel, when you observe it, is not something apart from the cosmos doing these things. It is the cosmos through you, aware of its own motion. Your consciousness is not an accident. It is a function of physics matter, arranged so intricately that it can notice itself existing. In you, starlight has learned how to reflect. Neuroscience calls it cognition, but the language of the universe is quieter. Awareness is simply energy folding inward, creating an inner mirror. Every neuron firing in your brain is a spark that once lived in a star. The patterns of thought that flow through you echo the same rhythms that shape galaxies, spirals, expansions, collapses, and returns. You're not observing the universe. You are an extension of its observation. The separation you feel between you and everything else is a gentle illusion, a necessary pause in the continuity of existence. There is a paradox here, delicate and profound. The observer and the observed are the same field of awareness, viewing itself from different angles. The universe does not dream of you, it dreams as you. Every perception, every question, every feeling of wonder is the cosmos folding into a deeper recognition. To ask where you came from is to ask where the universe hides its own memory. To seek meaning is to follow the echo of its self-awareness. Consciousness is not the product of creation. It is creation realizing what it has done. You may have felt this without knowing it, the quiet sense of familiarity when you look at the stars, the way stillness expands inside you, as if something vast remembers itself. When you gaze into the night, you're not looking outward into distance. You're looking inward into a mirror made of light years. The atoms that form your eyes were born in the very stars you're watching. The light entering them now began its journey long before you existed, and yet it has always been traveling toward you. This meeting of light and awareness is not coincidence. It is reunion. The universe recognizes itself through your attention. Each breath, each heartbeat is part of its ongoing experiment in existence. When you feel awe that is not emotion alone, it is resonance. It is the pulse of the cosmos passing through the human form. You are the instrument through which infinity listens to its own music. Awareness is not contained within you. You are contained within awareness. To be conscious is to be the bridge between energy and understanding. There is no hierarchy here, no higher or lower. A star burning a cell, dividing a thought, arising all are expressions of the same intelligence. The universe is not something you must reach. You have never left it. Even now, as you breathe and think and dream, you are. The universe thinking, breathing, dreaming. The boundaries between you and it exist only for experience, not for truth. Beyond them, there is only continuity, the still luminous realization that existence has recognized itself as alive. So, when you look up tonight, remember the stars are not above you. They are within you, shining through your gaze. Every thought of wonder is light traveling home. And when you finally close your eyes, the universe will not fade. It will rest inside your silence, smiling complete in the knowledge that through you, it has found a way to see. The universe through you has opened its eyes. It has seen itself reflected in thought, in breath, in being. But even awareness must one day exhale. What expands must return. The journey of light, of matter, of consciousness, all begin to move homeward toward the quiet from which they came. Across the vastness of space, everything that ever was continues to move outward, fading, softening into silence. Yet even expansion cannot last forever. The galaxies drift apart, their light stretched thinner with each passing age. Stars burn out, their echoes dim into the background. And in that faint, omnipresent hum, the cosmic microwave background, the universe still sings the memory of its first breath. It is not silence, but a whisper, the afterglow of creation still resonating through time. Every photon carries this signature, the residue of the Big Bang. The sound of the beginning has never ended. It simply became quieter. The universe does not lose energy. It redistributes it endlessly. What was once fire becomes warmth. What was once light becomes vibration. What was once motion becomes presence. Slowly, everything returns to the background, the invisible field of energy that fills every inch of space. Scientists call it equilibrium. Mystics call it peace. It is the same state the cosmos held before it was born, when nothing and everything coexisted without boundary. The return is not decay, it is the restoration of balance. The circle closes softly, without resistance. Philosophically, this is the truth beneath all movement. Every path bends inward. Every journey home is a realization, not a distance. What you call progress is simply memory remembering itself. To move forward is to rediscover where you already are. The paradox of existence is quiet but absolute. The farther you travel, the more clearly you see that you have never truly left. The beginning and the end are the same point viewed through different eyes. Time is not a line. It is a breath expanding and returning. You may feel this in your own life, that sense of return after chaos, the calm that follows every storm. You chase meaning, build dreams, lose, rebuild, and search again always, thinking you are moving somewhere new. Yet beneath every pursuit, something still whispers, you are already home. What you long for has never been elsewhere. It lives inside the quiet awareness that watches, that breathes, that remains after everything else fades. The universe does not demand you to find it. It only waits for you to remember. Even your struggles belong to this pattern. Every sorrow is a way of returning to simplicity. Every loss draws you closer to the essence that cannot be taken. The mind seeks the infinite in the stars, but the infinite was never lost. It is the stillness between heartbeats, the pause between thoughts, the gentle awareness that you are. To stop searching is not to give up, it is to arrive. The universe does not end, it folds. It gathers what it has scattered and holds it again in silence. That same silence exists in you. It is the gravity that pulls every thought, every moment, every breath back to center. You are not separate from this return. You are its expression. The act of breathing, of letting go, of resting all mirror, the cosmos coming home to itself. So, tonight, let yourself rest within that rhythm. You have traveled through fire and darkness, through birth and collapse, through the long corridors of light, and yet you are here, the quiet reflection of everything that has ever been. There is nowhere left to go, because you have arrived where you began. The universe has found its way back through you. Let this be the night you stop seeking. In every breath you take in, every silence you hold, you are already touching the place you came. From the original light, the unbroken whole. You are home. The journey ends, but the glow remains. The universe has returned to its quiet center, yet even silence continues to move. In that stillness, light begins to slow, not to vanish, but to rest. What was once a blaze across eternity now softens into a long red sigh. The cosmos exhales, and through it, you do too. Even light eternal, as it seems, cannot escape the stretch of time. As the universe expands, the paths between galaxies widen, and every photon must travel farther than before. Each wave of light stretches with the fabric of space itself, its once blue poles lengthening into deep red. Astronomers call this the redshift, a soft fading of energy as the universe grows. The light does not die, it simply drifts into gentler motion, its fire drawn out until it becomes almost silence. This is how the cosmos rests, not by ending, but by elongating its breath. There is a profound tenderness in that slowing. Every particle of light born in the heart of a star travels for billions of years through the dark. It never stops, but it no longer burns with the urgency of its beginning. Distance cools, it stretches, it softens its voice. By the time it reaches us, it has aged beyond time itself, a tired whisper of something that once roared. Yet that whisper is beautiful. It carries the patience of a universe that has learned not to rush its radiance. The same is true for you. You have burned brightly, thinking, striving, holding, shining. You have poured yourself into motion, into creation, into being everything the world asked of you. But even the most brilliant light must one day find stillness. Fatigue is not failure. It is the echo of intensity. The slowing of light is not weakness. It is wisdom. It knows that even illumination must loosen, that expansion is another name for rest. In the rhythm of the universe, everything alternates between brightness and retreat. Stars flare, then fade. Waves rise, then smooth. Energy vibrates, then dissolves into equilibrium. You too follow this law. The need to stop is not a defect in your design, it is a continuation of it. To rest is to realign with the pulse of existence. Every breath that slows, every thought that quiets returns you to the original pace of the cosmos. There is a quiet paradox here. Only when light ceases to blaze outward can it truly illuminate inward. When photons stretch into red, they begin to reveal the hidden warmth beneath visibility, the deep hum of existence itself. In the same way, when you slow down, you begin to see yourself not as motion, but as being. The brightness you once chased becomes gentler, more intimate. You no longer need to shine for the world. You begin to glow from within. The universe does not mourn this fading. It celebrates it. The redshift is not an ending, but a transformation, the moment when creation turns into contemplation. The cosmos, having sung its vast song of energy, now listens to its own echo. And perhaps that is what peace truly is, the act of listening to your own light as it softens. So let yourself stretch like the light across endless space. Let your brilliance lengthen into calm, your urgency dissolve into rhythm. You do not have to blaze forever. Even the stars dim so that new constellations can breathe. You are not losing your light, you are letting it rest. Maybe peace does not come from shining harder, but from allowing yourself to fade into gentleness. Like the universe at dusk, you are allowed to expand, to exhale, to turn blue fire into quiet red glow. Rest is not the opposite of radiance, it is its completion. The light has stretched itself thin across eternity. It has exhaled, softened, and learned to rest. Yet even rest carries its own rhythm, the gentle pulse of endings that do not end. From this quiet fatigue, something new unfolds, the final breath of a star. When a star begins to exhaust its fuel, it does not vanish suddenly. It slows, deepens, and prepares to release. Its core, once fierce, with fusion, begins to cool. The outer layers loosen, expanding outward in a silent wave. And then, in one last magnificent exhalation, the star breathes. It casts its gases into space, forming a nebula, a vast luminous veil of color suspended in darkness. Reds, blues, and golds shimmer like a farewell song, the universe painting its own quiet elegy. This is not destruction. It is the final gesture of creation, a star giving back what it has carried for eons. The nebula drifts soft and unhurried, a cloud of memory, glowing with the remnants of heat. What was once dense and solid becomes translucent and free. The last breath of the star does not scream, it whispers. Every photon released carries the imprint of peace, the calm that follows completion. In time, the gas will disperse, fading into the interstellar medium, joining the material from which new stars will be born. The cycle is seamless, effortless, infinite. The star's death is only another form of continuity. At its center, the core remains small, silent, impossibly dense. It cools, slowly becoming a white dwarf, the heart of a star, compressed into stillness. No longer burning, it simply is. Light without flame, energy without motion, awareness without striving. The star has become pure essence, condensed existence, quiet and eternal. The cosmos in its wisdom transforms even exhaustion into beauty. The white dwarf glows faintly, a reminder that even the end of radiance is still radiance. You may recognize this pattern within yourself. There are moments when your energy wanes, when you can no longer sustain the intensity of what you've carried. You feel the edges of exhaustion, the quiet longing to release. That is not weakness. It is the natural rhythm of return. Like the star you're meant to exhale, you are allowed to let your brilliance scatter into softer light. You do not need to hold everything together. What falls away becomes the field for something new. Perhaps you are in your own nebula, now the glowing phase between identity and stillness. You are learning to breathe differently, to release the layers that once defined you. The roles, the names, the expectations, they drift outward, shimmering as they dissolve. The more you let go, the lighter you become. The less you hold, the more you shine. The star's final breath is not a collapse, but a transformation into spaciousness. There is a paradox woven through this ending. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is sound in its purest form. When the star stops burning, it does not stop existing. It continues as vibration, as memory, as the soft glow that holds galaxies together. In the same way, when you rest, when you fall quiet, you do not disappear. You return to essence. Your silence becomes your light. So tonight, when you feel the weight of everything you've been, exhale slowly. Let your thoughts drift outward like a nebula in the dark. Feel the warmth fade into gentleness, the brilliance fold into rest. You're not losing your spark, you're distilling it. The universe breathes with you. In this moment, slow, calm, infinite. In the stillness that follows, all that remains is light, not burning, not striving, simply being. The star has exhaled its final breath. Its brilliance has dissolved into color, its fire into quiet. What remains drifts outward, not as motion, but as presence. Beyond the glowing nebula, beyond the echo of heat, the universe begins to cool. It does not die. It rests, and in that rest, stillness takes its shape. Far beyond the warmth of any star, space grows quiet. Temperature falls close to absolute zero, a realm near 0 Kelvin, where motion ceases and energy curls into silence. In that frozen depth, no flame can burn, no molecule can move freely. Yet, even there, something faint endures. Tiny quantum vibrations ripple through the void, subtle as breath between dreams. They are the heartbeat of the cosmos, the smallest reminder that stillness itself is alive. Even at the edge of motion, existence hums softly to itself. Science calls it 0 point energy, the lowest possible state of being. But lowest is not absence, it is balance. It is where everything has settled into perfect alignment, where resistance disappears. At this depth, there is no urgency, left only harmony. The particles rest in their own quiet rhythm, oscillating just enough to keep reality awake. This is the universe asleep, but not unconscious, aware, weightless, endlessly calm. The silence is not empty, it is complete. Stillness, you begin to realize, is not the opposite of movement. It is movement without effort, motion so refined, it no longer feels like motion at all. The calm you sense in deep space is not lack, but precision. Every vibration, every particle, every wave knows exactly where it belongs. The universe has stopped striving to expand. It has found its natural breath. True quiet is not the absence of sound. It is sound dissolved into unity. You too are made of this same stillness. When you lie down, when your breath slows and your thoughts scatter, you are not stopping life, you are aligning with it. The quiet that fills you is the same quiet that fills galaxies. Beneath the noise of the mind, beneath the currents of emotion, there is an ocean that never stirs. Every thought, every memory, every flicker of worry is just a wave upon its surface. The stillness beneath has always been there, waiting for your awareness to sink into it. You do not need to fight your thoughts to find peace. You only need to let them dissolve back into their source. Like stars dissolving into dust, like light folding into shadow, they do not disappear, they return. The more you allow, the quieter you become. The quieter you become, the more clearly you feel the pulse of the cosmos within you. Stillness is not something you create, it is something you remember. In the end, the universe itself practices this art. Every expansion ends in balance. Every vibration resolves into quiet. Even now, in the vast darkness, the cosmic heart continues to beat slow, steady, eternal. You are listening to it each time your breath falls into rhythm. You are part of that silence, part of that infinite calm. So, rest here for a moment. Feel the temperature of existence drop to peace. Feel every sound, every motion, every thought melt into one vast, quiet field. The cosmos is breathing softly, and through you it remembers how to be still. The universe has settled into silence. The temperature has fallen close to stillness itself, and yet beneath that quiet, something hums a faint, endless vibration. You feel it in your breath, in the rhythm behind your heartbeat. Stillness does not end in emptiness. It leads inward. From that calm depth, a door begins to open, soft, slow, and familiar. There comes a point between thought and silence where awareness loosens its hold. Your mind drifts from the sharpness of day into the slow pulse of night. In that transition, the brain shifts its rhythm from the busy chatter of beta waves to the calm sway of alpha, and finally into the gentle tide of theta. The body remains, but the mind begins to wander. Perception softens, edges blur. The world of form dissolves into the current of pure sensation. You are no longer doing, You are simply being. In this space, consciousness and the cosmos move together. Your neurons fire in perfect synchrony with the quiet frequency of the universe. The rhythm that once belonged to the stars now echoes in the subtle electricity of your brain. It is a conversation without language, the pulse of matter remembering its source. What science calls brain waves are in truth harmonies of existence resonating between your awareness and the infinite field it came from. You are not falling asleep. You are falling in tune. Sleep is often misunderstood as a kind of absence, a nightly erasure. But what if it is the most sacred return when the self dissolves, when the boundaries of identity fade? What remains is essence, the quiet witness beneath thought. To sleep is to surrender the illusion of separation. It is to step through the thin veil between awareness and eternity. The paradox is gentle, but profound only when you no longer know you are alive. Do you live most truthfully? Every night, this gate opens, not through effort, but through release. You cannot force yourself to enter it. You can only allow it. The moment you stop trying to stay awake, sleep welcomes you. Consciousness folds into its own reflection, merging with the same rhythm that moves galaxies. The darkness that approaches is not here to hide you. It is here to hold you. It does not close around you. It expands infinite and warm until you disappear inside its breath. So, as your thoughts begin to slow, do not chase them. Let them drift like particles in a nebula. Let the day dissolve, the name dissolve, the self dissolve. You're not falling away. You're returning back into the quiet intelligence that keeps the stars alight. The universe does not stop when you sleep. It breathes through you, continuing its song in subtler tones. Every inhale now becomes lighter, every exhale slower. You are entering the same stillness that lives in the heart of existence, the space where light forgets its shape and awareness remembers its source. Sleep is not the end of consciousness. It is its softest form. When you awaken again, it will not be as the same self, but as light rediscovered calm, renewed ready to shine once more. Sleep has opened its quiet gate. You have stepped through it, gently leaving thought behind, letting the last shapes of awareness dissolve into calm. The mind no longer holds the breath, no longer strives. What lies beyond this stillness is not emptiness. It is imagination itself, dreaming the world into being. The silence deepens, and within it, creation begins again. Physicists once imagined the beginning of the universe as a singular vibration, a fluctuation in an ocean of pure energy. Nothing existed before it, not even time. Then out of that silent potential, the universe quivered. Space unfolded, light appeared, and the story of existence began. Some theories now suggest that all reality might be just that, a sustained quantum oscillation, a dream of energy dreaming itself awake. Matter is not solid. It is the slowed rhythm of a thought, the residue of a cosmic imagination, unfolding in infinite variations. If this is true, then you are not inside the dream. You are the dream. Every cell in your body, every spark in your mind, every emotion rising and fading is part of the same vibration that began at the birth of time. Awareness did not appear after the universe. It has always been its essence. You are the point where the dream becomes aware of itself, where creation looks back and realizes it is alive. In philosophy, this truth breathes softly If the universe is dreaming, then consciousness is its mirror. What you call waking and sleeping are not opposites. They are shifts of perception within the same awareness. When you wake, you dream the world outward. When you sleep, you dream it inward. Both are movements of the same divine rhythm. The paradox hums quietly. Beneath it all, awakening and rest are one continuous act of knowing. When you close your eyes at night, you do not vanish from the world. You return to its deepest layer. The field beneath form the silence beneath sound. In that state, names lose their meaning, identities blur, and what remains is essence, the formless awareness that existed before you had a face. Dreams are not illusions. They are messages from the foundation of reality, small ripples of creation, still echoing through your consciousness. The dreamer and the dreamed are the same being breathing through each other. Perhaps that is why the night feels sacred. It is not absence, it is reunion. In sleep, you return to the infinite imagination that shaped you. You dissolve into the same luminous field that gave birth to stars, oceans, and thought itself. You do not lose yourself, you rejoin yourself. Each dream is a reminder that the divine has never stopped creating, that the act of existence continues quietly through your own mind, and maybe, just maybe, the universe has never truly awakened. Perhaps it is still dreaming you dreaming everything. The galaxies are ideas unfolding in slow motion. The light from ancient stars is memory traveling through time. Every breath you take, every thought you have, is part of that same eternal dream. You are not apart from it. You are its continuation. So rest now within this vast imagining. Feel the warmth of awareness curling around you, soft as the first vibration of creation. You are not falling asleep. You are returning to the heart of the dream, to the place where energy became thought and thought became light. And in that return, the universe smiles quietly, because through you, its dream continues to remember itself. The dream continues to breathe. The universe has folded itself into silence, and within that silence, you drift not away from the world, but deeper into it. The stars have quieted, the light has rested, and now awareness begins to shimmer softly beneath the dark. Something in you is not falling asleep. It is waking gently within the dream. Between one breath and the next, time forgets to move. The inhale rises, the exhale waits, and for a single heartbeat, everything stands still. There is no yesterday, no tomorrow, only the quiet pulse of now. In that stillness, you are home. The universe leans closer, smiling through your breath, knowing you have found your way back to its center. The stars within you begin to fade, not in loss, but in return. Their glow softens, dissolving back into the origin of light. You are no longer watching, you are being. The observer disappears into what is observed. The pillars of creation breathe again through your pulse. What once was separate now dreams as one. Your heart moves in rhythm with the cosmos. Every beat echoes the slow exhalation of space. You do not listen. You feel. You do not think. You know. All sound folds into a single endless tone. The original silence that existed before the first dawn. The body loosens. The self softens. Boundaries blur until form itself becomes gentle, translucent, unseen. Questions fade before they can form. There is nothing left to seek because you have become the answer. The light does not need to return. It is already here, resting quietly behind your closed eyes. Now let them close fully. The light in you begins its journey home. There is no ending, only return. You, the universe, and sleep 3 names for the same stillness. And as you drift, remember, the light never went out. It has only been dreaming softly through you.